Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Mysticons, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hi!
Today, Delaney, April, and I are back to discuss episode 8.
That was chipper.
Yeah, appropriately chipper for it's not really a chipper episode, but a good episode of Mysticons, Mutiny Most Fowl. We talk Mysticons every week here on the Overly Animated Podcast. You can find us at overlyanimated.com or search for Overly Animated Mysticons on iTunes and subscribe there, or on YouTube to not miss any of our weekly / whenever Mysticons is new podcast. That is Mutiny Most Fowl, FOWL, by the way. So yeah, I can't support the puns in
so
these
many
titles.
puns.
Yeah, I don't know why the show is doing the like half of our shows do these pun titles. Yeah, this doesn't need to be Rick and Morty, but that's what we're doing with the titles. Yeah, so getting into Mysticons, this aired this morning on Nickelodeon, episode 18 here. Make sure you've seen this. Spoilers for this episode and previous episodes of Mysticons. Delaney, what did you think of Mutiny Most Fowl?
Oh, I loved this episode. It was so good. Like, we get Em, looking, really cute, and it was great. And she had her little date. And then we have these really weird giant crab monsters. It's fine. And then this episode was really gay, which I'm always about, because,
Really?
Kitty and Zarya were like, oh my god. It was so intensely gay, and then the scene at the end, screaming. It was so good. The action's great. We even had some creepy, Necrophis stuff happen. This just got dark fast. I honestly didn't expect, okay, he's mad at them, he's kidnapping them. And then it was I'm sacrificing your soul. And I'm like, oh, that escalated very quickly. But I really liked this episode. It was really good. It was just a really solid episode.
Yeah. Okay, April, what'd you think?
Oh, I loved this episode so much. It was great. We get the Zarya and Captain Chaos sort of backstory. All of the MC moments were precious. Moon Boon it's confirmed for me. How could it not be? Piper did a fantastic job of being the comic relief the entire episode, which I think is kind of her character now for this show. But also, I love the little details in this episode, the fact that Captain Chaos is a parrot and he kept repeating himself. That was just great. But, the action was great. They sort of tied it back into, the main plot, which is wonderful. It was dark. But, I just loved that, this episode seemed longer than 22 minutes, but not in, that kind of bad way. It was just wonderful. So I'm super hype on this episode. It might be one of my favorite episodes of this entire show.
Ooh.
So
yeah,
mm-hmm.
He repeats himself saying "ye scurvy dogs" 10 times. Yeah,
yes,
among other things. Yeah, 3 for 3 also loves this one. This is just really good. Absolutely one of the best episodes of this show. Everything hit. The highlight is the romance stuff, probably, with our two main couples, and both of them were incredible. Also, just the pirate adventure we had was great. The Piper comic relief stuff was really good. Just great character moments for all 4 of the Mysticons, which is something I really like when that happens. Start to finish, excellent episode. One of the best of the show, top 50 animation episode of the year, to be honest, if not higher. Really, really incredible. If I was going to show, I think if we're going to show one episode of Mysticons to someone, to show them how great the show is, I think you show them this episode. It's kind of is self-contained, and it just hits on multiple different angles. This is a great example of why the show is so good. And yeah. So it's what's the I said romance is the highlight here. What's the do we agree? The April, I didn't even have to mention the ship names. April brought them up to start. So MC and Moon Boon, is this the number one highlight, or is it the flashbacks to Zarya and Kitty's past? Is it seeing Captain Chaos?
All of it. Yeah. All of it was a highlight. It was so great. Everything they did paid off. I loved all of the romance, and I like that they sprinkled it in throughout the entire episode. Like, no matter what was going on, like Em and Casey were having like little moments together, and then like there's even like small, like not like our two main ships, but like I enjoyed like the Zarya and Em moment that took place, and like that beginning scene with Em getting ready was just over the top. I was just like, look at these four. Y'all need to be together forever.
Yeah, just great moments with the four of them in the beginning. Yeah, Delaney, which couple had a bigger episode? Now we're biased in favor of Moon Boon, but was it Kitty and Zarya or Em and Casey?
Okay, so obviously biased, Kitty and Zarya, but. Okay, I mean, Em kissed Casey, so like that's a big deal. Also, the fact that Em did it, yes, like,
yes,
that's what I'm about. And then he just looks stunned. It's so good. And then Choco got pizza. Is great.
What? That's a highlight. Okay, yeah.
Obviously, of course.
There's a lot of great Choco moments in this episode.
There's quality moments of him in this episode. I did want to say that again. I'm loving their they keep juxtaposing Casey and Em and Zarya and Kitty, and I'm like, yes, like reaffirm me.
Yeah, it's they're just being very obvious that they're going for both of these.
Good.
Yeah.
Also, like, I think one of the best moments in this episode, if not the whole show, is when Zarya like saves Kitty, and they come back on the ship, and Kitty like has her her arm on Zarya, and I was like, this is the most incredible thing. Like, the stance was so great, and then just like, whatever, we're going to fight you. It was so good.
See, I didn't even
made her mad now.
Yeah, I didn't even tell you guys this, but that is absolutely the screen cap I just posted in our chat.
Yes.
I'm glad that we're on the same page again.
It's a good one. I mean, it's the best.
Yeah, I think that's officially the gayest image to ever air on Nickelodeon, like by far.
It was so gay.
I don't know.
Well, no, it's not as gay as the like over the neck hug. That's really gay.
Yeah, that was also good. Yeah, I think that moment when Zarya saves Kitty, and then they're just staring angrily.
They have
also every time, Zarya yells Kitty, and I'm like, gay.
Yeah, also noted that. Yeah, it's
Zarya, calm down.
Captain Chaos takes off with Kitty, Casey, and the entire ship, and all Zarya's concerned about is Kitty. Yeah,
Kitty, like gay.
Yeah,
gay.
Yeah. So
what a homo.
What a homo. The answers, they're both great episode for both of the couples, right? Yeah, the highlight, I think
it's so good.
The thing that I think I've seen people talking about already is the Em and Casey kiss. Obviously, big moment. I'm kind of surprised we went so fast here, and that Em kisses Casey at the end of the episode. Big MC moment. We're trying to still make that name catch on, but April, what was your reaction to Casey, Em kissing Casey?
It was great. I love that, like, Em is the, like, confident one in their relationship, and she went for the first kiss, like, and she sort of is, like, making all the moves, and, like, she's saving him, and she's going after him. Like, I love that. I love how progressive that is in their relationship. It's great. Like, I'm about this. This is, Moon's obviously the best ship, but MC is second best ship.
Yeah, on our ship power rankings, it's clearly Moon 1, MC 2, and then a distant third for Astromage, right?
Very distant third.
Not hating on the Astromage, but it's kind of hard. But great. I think the Casey and Em moment was very. It was like a great encapsulation of their relationship so far. With just Em going ahead, kissing him, it was wonderful. The other element of the two of them, which I absolutely loved, maybe my favorite thing in the episode, is the two of them nerding out over Questica Nightly Mage Detective.
Is that what it was called? I didn't write it down.
Questica Nightly Mage Detective.
They need to show us like an episode or something. Like, we need to see this. Yes. Like, we are owed now. They mentioned it multiple times in the episode. Now I need to see it.
Yeah, yes. So they've seen, Casey's seen every episode twice, like a true fan, good. And they're in the Questica fan club. And then at the end, they're debating over which episode that something happened in. It was great. They're us. They're us on the podcast, yeah.
And I like that they were like, we'll fight now and nerd out later. Like, bye.
Yeah, they say, this is, Casey says, this is just like when Questka battles, or no, M says that, Casey says, the giant octopus in episode 6. M is like, I think that was episode 7. Like, shut down, yeah. That was wonderful. That's our entire discussions on the Overly Animated podcast is. That was this episode, yeah. So that's good. Where's Casey's? I don't know who'd have the podcast, Casey or M, but
we also have to acknowledge the fact that Casey's little trinket was a unicorn.
Yes,
and
yes.
M is the unicorn. So.
That's destined, meant to be. Yeah,
fate. It's also like he was so cute, like young. Casey was adorable. Like I just wanted to pick him up and put him in my pocket. Also, like, young Zarya has the longest legs. like she grew into those.
Delaney, what do you think of these Zarya kitty flashbacks?
It was wonderful, obviously, and they're really cute. And yes,
just yes.
They're really good, and I'm glad we got them. I want to know more about Zarya's mom because we just have this weird amulet thing, and I'm like, that doesn't look like a normal mom necklace.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's where we're going because at the end, Zarya says misses her mom and dad, and maybe we'll go back there. They're probably dead, but I just think it's weird that she's very much like, oh, I miss my mom and dad, and it's like, you've been free of Captain Chaos for how long? Like, why haven't you gone back there? Kind of. So they're probably not around, I would assume.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so I think we might have hit on all the moments very quickly, all the ship moments. That's good. Yeah, just in general, seeing the foundations of the Moonboon Zarya Kitty with the flashbacks, I think was pretty big.
Also, they just stole his ship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the ship they have the entire time. It was Captain Chaos's old ship. Yeah.
Why are they so cool?
Yeah.
Let's
talk Captain Chaos.
Okay.
So, how surprised were you two when you saw that Captain Chaos was just a giant parrot?
Okay, so I didn't realize until we were doing this podcast when April said that he's a parrot, that he was a parrot.
Okay, he's a bird. I don't know. Him being a parrot isn't that important. Yeah.
Okay, I just he's a bird. Okay, and then when Piper made that joke about him, said something about him being a parrot, I was like, oh, she's just
She could have just been kidding. Yeah, it's not.
I thought they were just randomly calling him different birds because we didn't know. No, I'm just stupid and don't know.
I think he's supposed to be a parrot, but it's not important. He's just a giant.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him being a parrot better.
That's
he
fair.
just repeats himself a lot. Yeah, I guess pirates can do that. Yeah,
also, just because pirates have parrots.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Yeah. Kind of.
I was very shocked when he's just a bird and he was really dramatic and he has these metal wings and I was like, you look really extra and you're just a bird.
Yeah, he has the metal wings that he shoots spikes out of or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's calm down.
He's a very dramatic character. He's kind of
no, he talks like such a typical pirate. I'm like, you're a bird. I can't take him seriously, honestly.
He's supposed to be 100% threatening and serious, and yet he's losing to these children, and he's a giant bird. So it's interesting.
And he has all of these great lines, "Go deal with those costume troublemakers."
Yeah.
What?
Okay. The highlight line of Captain Chaos, maybe my highlight of the episode is Captain Chaos says, "Your fancy spandex don't fool me." When she realizes Zarya is Mysticon Ranger. Yeah,
that's very good.
He saw through it. Captain Chaos is the smartest person in the universe. He saw through it.
He's the smartest person in the universe.
How did he know? Because she called him a squawk box, and that's
Really? There's only one person foolish enough to call me that. Okay.
He's the only one smart enough to pick this up. This is Captain Chaos fun. Just single-handedly negated the entire secret identities trope. I can't
dang it.
He's just some stupid bird pirate. It's amazing.
Yeah. So just him being a giant pirate. I was very surprised the first time I saw this because I didn't remember the show having done this before, making the giant anthropomorphized animals. And I was reminded in our Discord that it had done in episode 1 with the big fat cat banker guy. Yeah. That they're trying to rob from in the first episode. So I guess this is something that's in this world, in this show's mythology wheelhouse, is making giant human animals, but It's not something they've done a lot, so I think it was pretty surprising here. I'm not clear why.
I was like, oh, he's a bird. And then there's like these giant, weird, terrifying crab creatures.
Yeah, that's all another thing. I'm not clear why that they do this, make the human animals. I don't know what it adds to the show. I guess it's visually interesting.
I mean, I don't think it really matters. Like,
it doesn't matter that much.
I was like, I'm not questioning it too much. So
I was questioning it because I was surprised that he was a giant bird. Yeah, this is like
I didn't question it. I immediately accepted it.
Okay.
I was like, me too.
Giant bird.
Yeah, this is something that BoJack Horseman is like the show's foundation is, but so it's not like surprising because we have another show about that. But yeah, it's weird. But yeah, we also have the giant crabs. And Nick posted the preview for this episode as they do every week, and the description called the crabs alien crabs.
Aliens?
That's
really?
That's not canon. No,
what?
Nick,
no, they're not aliens.
I don't know if Nick understands the show if they think they're aliens in it, but yeah, that was. But yeah, they're just.
I don't think Nick understands what's going on.
Nick, watch the show. Nick, website person, just watch the show. Okay, but
please.
Yeah. We though he is weird crab henchmen, which were ancient magic crabs that manifested from like the curse of the ancient Washington
Fire?
Monument. Yeah, like
I also was like the Washington Monument. It's granted, I like that. Like, I did enjoy it. Like, oh, we're just gonna have this really creepy obelisk. That's fine.
Yeah. But, I don't know what the crabs do.
They were just they were crabs with him.
Yeah, whatever he.
So he just made them big.
Here, have giant crabs. These will help you.
There were little crabs, but when he walked into the curse part, I missed that. Okay.
The crabs were with him, and they just got bigger.
Okay. Yeah. Why did he have little crabs? They just followed him?
They were just there.
Okay.
They were just there.
He doesn't have pet crabs. They were just
no.
There.
I don't think
they were literally just there because he falls down into the thing, and then there's crabs there, and he's like, get away.
Why did the ancient Washington Monument magic make them bigger? Why did?
Because the
make it more terrifying.
Okay.
Because it's Necropha, and Necropha is
absurd. We'll talk about that. Yeah, but the one thing I feel like that comes out of the crabs is there's a sequence of each of them fighting crabs and then making crab puns. And then Zarya's insert crab based pun here. Yeah.
I died. I couldn't. The first one was I was like, oh gosh, and then the next one and no, and then all Zarya had to say was insert crab based pun here, and I was like, I'm done. This show is amazing.
Yeah. The crabs. I don't know, but whatever. So back to Captain Chaos. He's mostly not that much of an entity, right? He's just a threatening force in Zarya's past. I don't think his character ever shines. I don't think he ever, other than the spandex line, I don't think he really ever did that much. But I also don't. I think he properly sat back in the episode. He wasn't the focus here. He was just an impetus for exploring the characters that we know. So I think that was a good decision. But this isn't a character I'm clamoring for to come back, I guess.
I can't. I mean, maybe
what happens to him at the end? I don't even remember. Does he?
His soul gets absorbed or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in theory, so I guess if Necropha resurrects the magic or whatever, he could come back.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe he'll just be a dark, he'll be an extra evil slave.
Yeah, maybe he'll get turned into a specter, and then he just says, he's the specter that talks like a pirate. How about that?
There you go. Well, okay. And we'll know instantly.
Yeah, we'll know it's him. That's So we mentioned it at the end. We just get this shot of the obelisk, and we see the Necropha symbol on it, which I don't think is obvious. I don't think it's obvious that this is the Necropha symbol, but it's the thing in the intro that flips over and turns into, I don't remember. Yeah, it's the
Necropha symbol.
Yeah. So that's interesting. What does this mean?
Maybe that's her magic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I guess people could have used to worship her. So maybe it was an old monument to her.
Interesting.
Also, she's just evil. Also, it was red, and I was like, does this have to do with Necropha?
Yeah, I guess red is the Necropha.
Also, we know it's ancient, because we know she's ancient, so.
Yeah. Still not clear if Necropha is a former human, like Dreadbane, or an eternal, immortal evil force. I think this episode would provide evidence to her being more of the immortal Vatu Korra-like force, just the ancient evil in the world. Because if she is her magic and monuments built to her, that's
that makes sense.
Which I don't think is that interesting, to be honest. I'm hopeful that the show will do something slightly more interesting with Necrofa. But by the way, side note, it doesn't have to do with this episode that much, but there's been a lack of urgency with Necrofa this season. Like, this is our second episode in a row, not really dealing with her, and it's like she came back and she immediately tried to kill everyone, and then she's just like sitting back trying to find her gems, and now we haven't seen her for a little bit.
And they just like talk about her, and I'm like, is this not bad? Like, they've like made jokes about her before, like, oh, if that reaches Necrofa and like weird stuff, and I'm like,
it feels weird.
Something.
Yeah. Why aren't we doing anything about her? I think this, I don't know what this season's arc is. That's kind of the thing. Like, this is season 2.
Yeah.
Like, what do we, I mean, I do know that something is going to be introduced in a few episodes. So, but I think we're maybe going to base around that, but I really don't know. So it's weird because this is supposed to be the Necrofa was resurrected season, but we're not really doing anything with that yet. That being said, I think the season has been pretty successful because all the episodes have been very good. Like, just every episode has kind of hit so far. But I do think season 1, in terms of like building up to the Necrofa revival, felt like more of we were going somewhere. I don't know where we're going right now.
I mean, it felt like, oh god, this is gonna be really bad, and we have to do something about it, like right now, immediately. But
but
so
not so much.
Yeah,
maybe she's trying to find Tasma. She's trying to build her new Spectre army. Yeah. She's just waiting in the wings, and maybe it's like one of those situations where they're like, okay, well, there's other things going on. We'll deal with it whenever it comes back. Like,
Tasma featured in the episode description of next episode. So,
yep,
Tasma. We'll see. She has not been seen since episode 14, and interested to see what she's up to. But I don't think it really matters because this episode was so good. But anyway.
I was like, I'm not upset. Like, just like you said, every episode thus far has been really like they've been hitting it, and so I'm not gonna be upset about something that like we're missing. Yeah, we don't really have a direction, but like I feel like other shows get away with that, or other shows do that, but not as successfully as this show has.
Yeah, the only reason I would highlight it specifically for this show is because we're just so narrative oriented in Mysticons. Like, to an extent that no other show we cover is. Like, we're more plot heavy than like one of the most plot heavy animated shows on TV. So it's notable when we don't have like this is the first time in the show where it doesn't feel like we have an overall direction. Anyway, okay, so back to, I think there's a lot of character moments from the episode from, we've talked a lot about Zarya. There's a few more M moments to highlight. The scene in the beginning with them prepping for M's date. M says, and I forgot how to do the thing where you put air in your mouth to live. Yeah.
That was really good. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, Piper says, "You mean breathing?" Yeah, I love the way that they have Piper's character react to things. She's just very like chipper, like response. She's not like sarcastic. She's just like she's kind of sarcastic, but she's in like a Piper way. She's smiling. She's like, "You mean breathing?" Yeah, I like that. And then Piper does like a trumpet, and she says, "Ladies and ladies, here's M," which was notable for an all-female show. Piper moments. There's a lot of there's one big Piper moment that I'm interested to see if you guys liked. So let's talk about that, which is towards the end when they win. It's Captain, like, they have a fake out that it's over and Captain Chaos comes back, but like before that, Piper like says she starts dancing, "We're free, cha cha cha," and then she does poppin' and lockin'. And it's like 10 seconds of Piper popping.
It was very quality because the voice in which she said "poppin' and lockin'," and it was amazing. Voice acting was very quality.
So you're saying Anna Sani sold that line? Okay,
she did. She very much sold that.
Did you also like the poppin' and lockin', April?
I did, but you should also know that in my notes where I mentioned it, I was like, bet Dylan said something about that.
Obviously, yeah. You have to comment on it. I think it only works because Piper is a good character, but this is not something I want the show to do that much of. Like,
it works for Piper in like Piper's character.
Also,
in this
how
episode.
Dated is that reference? Like,
right?
Right. I mean, they probably wrote it 2 years ago, so actually probably not that long for the show. But it's I don't know. I think they maybe spent too much time on it. I think if it was more of a quick moment, it might have worked better. Like, it was, they let it stand on its own. They're like, okay, we really have to emphasize the Piper popping and locking part. But yeah, other Piper stuff. She says fusers, which I wanted to highlight. Fusers. Like wowzers from Life is Strange, but fusers, like few. Yeah, I haven't heard
did
that
not
one.
catch that, but it's great.
That's more of what I'm looking for from the Piper stuff, I guess.
I really enjoyed like Piper calling Arcano on being really bad at like captaining the ship. That was great.
Like, no, she's not.
Don't listen to her.
Also, I really like how everyone like at the beginning was like, now she's fabtacular.
Yeah, now she's spectacular. Yeah.
We had also two spectaculars.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, who specifically, Delaney? Zarya? Yeah.
Yes, obviously.
Towards M, yeah. We also had It's Magic Hour. Notable.
We did have It's Magic Hour.
And we had a transformation sequence, and it wasn't as bad because it was placed correctly, right?
But it wasn't the theme song.
Yeah, but it wasn't the theme.
That being said, this episode was more serious, so I think the somber music kind of worked better, but...
It did work out.
I still skipped it.
Yeah, I mean, we'd prefer if it wasn't there at all, but... the Arcana stuff, I think Arcana had a nice little arc about piloting the ship.
It was really funny.
Yeah, I think this works.
I like how she's like, I'm really bad at this, and then she like just manages not to crash the ship. She goes, I'm really good at this.
Yeah, it was good.
Like the voice acting on that was also sold it.
Yeah, good. Great voice acting on Alison Court for Arcana was great. Yeah, Ebony Rosen, great for M in this episode as well. A ton of notable M lines as mentioned, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Nikki Burke as well for Zarya, and I just think all the characters hit here. Like that's the make of a good Mysticons episode for me. When like we have stuff to point to for all of them. Like Piper had great moments, Arcana did, as even though they're not the focus, and then Zarya and M, of course, it was more of their spotlight. And I think the Zarya and M focused episodes are more likely to hit because they're the flashier characters. They're definitely the flashier characters, potentially the better characters as well.
They're also the most developed characters, so
right, probably, yeah. I think Piper's also had a lot of development, but we haven't had. It's easy to forget. We had a lot of like Piper flashbacks and stuff like that before, and we haven't just done it recently.
That's true.
Yeah, but Choco nonsense. I think the most notable things is the Choco with the 2 eye patches.
When she says "ready the cannons," and he just pops on another eye patch. He puts on the second
one. Yeah. Why is he so into the pirate theme?
Because she used to be a pirate.
Oh yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I guess Chaco's heard all about this. I think he came on post pirate, but he wants to get on to Zarya's past.
I know.
Yeah, he kept hearing all these pirate stories, and now he gets to be a pirate, so he's excited. Yeah,
he's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, we had Zarya versus Arcana in the video games too.
And Arcana getting offended because Piper wasn't cheering for her.
This remote's cursed. Like whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I think they were playing Avatars of the Apocalypse, presumably. Although I didn't really check the what it looked like.
At one point you hear "You've been apocalypse."
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, yeah, Piper was rooting for Zarya. Yeah, and Arcana was not pleased. Random chaos moment was he started like puppeting Zarya.
That was great.
That was also really creepy, and I was like, I hate him.
There was a lot of things that were creepy about
like the
Captain
first
Chaos.
time. The first time it was funny, but then he did it again. I was like, I don't like this.
Your leadership is inspiring.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the hypnotism part of Captain Chaos, the charm spell.
I was very like disturbed by that whole premise. Like he kidnapped all of these kids.
It's very dark.
And then was like using trinkets of theirs to hypnotize them to do I guess go swashbuckling, whatever. Or
yeah.
But like I was very sort of disturbed by all of that. Like
we gotta talk real fast.
Yeah,
it's a good concept though. Like I caught on really fast, obviously, to like it's a very simple concept and it's very common in like fantasy and like stuff. So I really liked it. And like when they talked about it later, I was like, yeah. And then I was also like, just say it like they have the trinket. And like I was like, and they're like, oh yeah, they have our trinkets. So I was like, duh. But so I liked it. Like it made sense. It was really creepy though, because like their eyes just went white, and I was like, oh god. So I got really frustrated when like the earphones like went in the water, and I was like, ugh. But But then when I really like they brought back her orc bash, and I was like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had the wireless wireless headphones with the orc bash from earlier. Yeah,
I enjoyed that a lot.
That was a good moment. Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned it's a pretty standard narrative, to be honest. Like, as much as this episode worked, like, it was the pretty standard pirate narrative. And I think that it was, much like Captain Chaos, pretty unobtrusive, which was a good thing. Let us focus on the characters and their relationships. I'm not generally very much not a fan of, like, hypnotism stuff like this. It's very frustrating for me to take agency away from the characters I care about. It's like seeing Kitty and you think Zarya is hypnotized. Like, it's just actively frustrating for me as a viewer. But I think it was executed well, just not a trope that I'm a fan of.
Well, I really I was frustrated too because like I hate it also. But then and especially because like he's a guy and like they're female characters, I was like, I'm not liking this at all. But then at the end, when like you find out that Zarya was like had the orc bash the whole time, I was like, okay, this makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a good subversion, and it is creepy if you think about Captain Chaos being like an adult man bird, but he's but they don't do anything with that, right? Like they're very
right.
Yeah,
I think that's why like I say more okay, but because like. He wasn't necessarily in this moment making them do anything except leave the ship. And so I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because if you think about it at all, he's like a man that captures children and forces them to work on his ship.
Like, he's exactly. Weirdo. Like, he's a creeper. Also, like, it was like this totally got like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, I've brought you souls. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's our pirates.
So that turned dark real quick. But, I was like, jeez.
Yeah, he was going to kill them, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I also like that he told the story of how he escaped to essentially himself. Like...
yeah,
like, for real. Like, what an egomaniac, like, honestly.
I was like, you're just telling the story to yourself. Like, they can't hear you right now.
Yeah, he's just very like he's just very into his pirate narrative like that. He doesn't understand. He's very much a straight man. Anything he's saying that's funny. He's not aware of. Like at the end when he's falling into the manya, he's like me tail feathers. Like that's your reaction to that. But yeah, I don't know. Captain Chaos doesn't need to. If we dug any deeper with him, it would start to not work as much. But as is, I think it was good.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Delaney, any other moments from the episode you want to highlight?
Well, I did want to say, like, he works because they spend the literal entire episode making fun of him.
Yeah, they do. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So they're like, you're stupid, like, you're a bird. And then they constantly make fun of him for being a bird, which, like, I guess is, like, speciesist, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
Definitely speciesist, yeah. Assuming there's
but he is
species.
An evil pirate bird, so...
Yeah, we didn't talk about the moon at the end moment, so... we talked about Miss Mom and Dad and like have the hug, and they say the nightmare's finally over. Yeah,
it's not over. It's never over.
I mean,
oh no, never.
It's kind of weird saying the nightmare's finally over when literal embodiment of evil is still released and active in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like, whatever.
Anytime they're ever like, oh, like the badness is gone or whatever, I'm like, no, it's not. It's gonna come back. You just called it.
Like the prophet's going to resurrect him, and like Zarya's gonna have to fight him or something.
It's gonna be a nightmare episode. They're gonna bring back. Yeah, think about it. They're gonna bring back Captain Chaos and like Piper's nightmare, and we'll have to dig up something for Arcana. And but yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare episode. That's how Necropha will murder them.
Zombie. Zombie chaos on our radar now.
Yeah.
Since we have a second, briefly, Delaney, how do you think? So this episode was kind of about Zarya and Kitty being childhood friends and their backstory, and I think that's something that potentially contrasts with doing romance with them in the present. It's something that's maybe not like a natural jump for them to make. And I would say that's why it's going to take them so long to get to that point in like actuality. It's because they have a foundation of like friendship and family in the past. So like, how do you think the show is handling this dichotomy of them being like completely like this non-romance element in their past and then trying to develop this in the present with romance?
I mean, I like watching it. Like, I think the show is developing it really well. Like, I think they're doing it like a really good job. And like, you know, as much as like I hate that trope, I do think they're doing a really good job of like showing. Like, I think it's obvious that Zarya has interests in women, and it's not just Kitty. So, I think that way. So I think that way, like they're doing a really good job, and like I think like there's clearly like a very deep affection. So like we'll see how it goes. I don't think necessarily like, it's like a bad thing. Like it's not really any different than if it was like if this was like a like if it was a guy and a girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I honestly think they're developing it the exact same way you would expect, and I'm enjoying it. I think it's really good, and it's good to have that there. And then they keep juxtaposing with Casey and M, and I think that's really good too. Like I think that's helping a lot.
Yeah, because that's the most successful I think they've been so far. Is like they just made sure to show it with Casey and M to like emphasize that it's romance. Yeah.
And that's honestly what I love so much about it, because like there's always that, you know, people and being like, oh, they're just friends, and then it's like, well, if you do it this way, you're just like, is really are you going to be that way, really? So that's honestly, I love it, and I think that's like the best. That's like I'm really enjoying it, and I think they're doing everything in a really like sweet, adorable, like great way.
It's a very like genuine way that they're doing it too. Like, and I think what helps it is to have sort of that like M and Casey to compare it to, but at this like because they're two totally different relationships, but then at the same time they keep making like small comparisons that like make them seem similar. So they're like it's like they're being subtle but genuine, like genuine at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, what is it? M has a line when she's talking to Zarya, and she's like, well, I know that, like, you want to save Kitty as much as I want to go save Casey. And, like, I think those small comparisons, like, help set that up better.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to talk about that line. Wow, thank you for highlighting that. Yeah. That was the other Greg Moon line is, I'm not giving up on Casey, says M, and I know you'd never give up on Kitty. Yeah, like the rest of the Mysticons team is just aware that they're like a budding couple. It's great.
Yeah,
like that. Like, is there another way to read that line that's not like romance? Like it's
there isn't, but like that's why I appreciate like those lines like so much more whenever you're developing like this relationship, like the Moon like whole specter.
Yeah, they've it's kind of shocking how good of a job they've done of presenting it on the surface.
Also, they don't like emphasize like, oh, we've been friends forever. Like it's just showing like how much they care for each other and like all these interactions. Like they're not just like friends. Like they don't like drop that word a lot, and it's great. Like it's so good.
Like they're childhood friends, but that's not they only use that as a foundation of their affection. They don't use it as like the focal point of their relationship.
Yes.
And even in this episode, which is about their beginnings, it's still not the focal point because they have so much of an emphasis on the romance in the present. There's a larger discussion to be had. I maybe can give the brief version of this about, and we talked about this. It's like front of mind because we talked about this on the Ruby podcast last week, where there's been quite a few female romance or gay female characters shown in animation within the past several years, but all of them do this childhood friends trope. And it's a little bit frustrating because
with the exception of Kurosami.
Right. I would say the Kurosami's version of it is that they had to be friends for 3 seasons before even approaching romance. So I think it kind of fits in. Yeah. So it like Kurosami's like on my, like I have a list of things that fit this foundation. So it's a little frustrating to see Em and Casey approach affection so quickly. Because no other female romance has done that. Like, there's no casual female romance presented.
No, unless unless we're going to use this as a vehicle to like explore a coming out, which if we are, that's going to be really great for like this show and this demographic. In which case, that would make sense. Like, if that's where we're going, like a coming out, I think is that this is like a good way to do it. Like for this demographic.
Yeah, I assume the show won't do that, but. That would be interesting if we actually had an explicit coming out scene for Zarya or Kitty, but I assume the show's not going to do that. But yeah, it's anyway. Yeah, if you look back on basically just take your pick of any of these gay animation couples shown. Like recently with Ilya and Ruby, not actual couple, but feelings shown. It's a childhood frenzy type thing. Kurosami, who had the 3 seasons of build up. Anything in Steven Universe with Ruby and Sapphire kind of is they had a non-romantic past and it took forever to build up. And it's bubbly and an adventure time. They have to have thousands of years on and off thing in order to approach it in the present. There's no casual, you can't just have romance. Like Em and Casey is like, they met each other in a romantic context and it happens. That doesn't happen for non-straight, ships or relationships on TV, really. So, this episode maybe emphasizes the frustrations with that. It's not this show's fault though. It's more of just the context of media, and it's ultimately not a bad thing because of just how well they're doing Kitty and Zarya and how blatant it is. So I think they are doing a great job with it. It would be nice if they had another non-straight couple on the show, and and they were just they were just dating and like that. That would really help the case here. But yeah, it is notable because of the recent events, I think, on a lot of these shows. But yeah, it's still, regardless, still love the Moon Boon and the MC, and they stand on their own, and continue to be wowed by the progress of Kitty Zarya. I wonder what we're doing with it next. The problem is that Kitty's not on the show all the time, right? Like, this was the first episode she'd been.
It's the the tragedy of it.
Yeah, presumably she's not on next episode. I don't really know. But yeah, it might be a little bit before we get back here. Sad. Yeah. Okay. Sad. Delaney, overall closing thoughts on Mutiny Most Fowl.
I just enjoyed this episode a lot. It was fun, and the narrative moved well. It was serious. It got dark real fast. It was really gay, and I enjoyed that a lot. I'm just really enjoying the relationships and how they're building them up with Em and Casey and Moon Boon. And I'm just really enjoying Mysticons. I just love the show, and I always look forward to watching it.
Yes, definitely. April, final thoughts.
Yeah, I cannot give enough love for this episode. It's honestly one of the best episodes of the entire show. And again, the development of the relationships, despite all of this very dark, content, and then as well as the comedy sort of element of it. It's such a very well done episode, and it cannot get enough of my praises. And really, this show in general is just, I know I say this every week probably, but the show just continues to just blow me away every episode. So even their bad episodes are really, really good. So
yeah, really, I'm open to this being the best episode of the show. It's not, I don't think this show has a clear best episode. I probably got All Hail Necrofa #1, but there's 6. This joins the previous 6 that I had that you could make an argument for. And this is, I think, one of the best episodes we've covered, honestly, of any show in a long time. I'm trying to look back.
Agree.
I agree. This episode is just so solid.
Yeah.
And it's just really good. It's just a great episode of television.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say Deep Dive Starburst would be the but best episode since the Star mid-season finale. And it's just really strong, continues to be a really strong start to Mysticons, although we are halfway through season 2 right now. So keep that in mind, I guess. But we got two more weeks in December of Mysticons being new. But I just want to start throwing this out there. I haven't heard anything official, but I do think there is the possibility of a break after episode 20. I reread over some things, and I think that Nick might be taking, I don't know how long, but I think that's on the table here. But yeah, we are new through the next 2 weeks, including Christmas Eve. So next week is Through My Enemy's Eyes and Hype for Tasma. And potentially another character referenced in the description. Not explicitly referenced, but I'm hyped for said character potentially returning. So we'll see if that happens. But join us next week for Through My Enemy's Eyes. And make sure to subscribe to not miss our Mysticon stuff. Overlyanimated.com. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe there, give us a thumbs up, and leave any comments. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Also on overlyanimated.com, you can click on the article and leave us comments there. Join in on the discussion on Discord at overlyanimated.com/Discord. Text chat with us about Mysticons, one of our most active channels. We were talking about the aliens thing earlier, and a lot of I don't know. What are the highlights of this discussion? A lot of nonsense on there, to be honest. There's a lot of crab discussion. Not enough.
There's a lot of fun to be had in the Discord. Let's say that.
We like talking about inconsequential things, apparently, on the Discord. That's what happens. Yep. And consider supporting us via Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Xavier, aka Podcast Addict. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Andy, and Hugh. 2017 OVA's Animation Award nominations are tomorrow. I don't know if Mysticons, I haven't tabulated it yet, but I assume Mysticons will get at least one nomination. And if you're listening after this, they might be out already, the nominations, so check out overlyanimated.com.
Do I still have time to vote?
Yes. I'm going to tell you that after the podcast ends to vote. Yeah. And,
okay.
Yeah. And so you can, and you all, listeners can vote for the winners. So check out overlyanimated.com for that. And yep, that's it. We have upcoming Ruby, Miraculous Ladybug, Adventure Time. Still a bunch of new animation stuff even deep into December, and we'll still have 2 more Mysticons episodes to go this year. So let us know what you thought of our discussion, guys, in the comments, and thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.